Welcome to the Michigan Golfer Show. Join us each week as we explore the people, the places, and the events that shape our great game.
Many friends, fellow players, and colleagues that have a connection to the game of golf and share a common interest in improving equity for all athletes. We have a fast-paced program tonight, and I promise to get you players out of here so that you at least have a chance at a good night's sleep tonight, so you'll be refreshed and ready for your second round tomorrow. This evening we are celebrating the 50th anniversary of Title IX and its achievements in expanding the opportunities for women to compete on and off the field. Many of us here of a certain age remember the doors that were closed in education and sports before Title IX. I grew up in a rural community in southwestern Pennsylvania pre-Title IX. We played all kinds of sports in the backyards: kickball, football, basketball, baseball, you name it, we played it, girls and boys alike. But the only organized sports in those days were reserved for boys. My brother was a good baseball player, and my dad was a coach, so I would tag along to Little League practice. I wanted to play baseball so badly, so I settled for shagging balls when the players would hit a foul ball or when they made an errant throw. I chased down the balls and threw them back into the field, but always from on the other side of the fence, never on the field of play. It was unheard of in those days for a girl to play Little League baseball, at least in my hometown. Fast forward a few years to 1972, when the passage of Title IX mandated that women and girls be legally protected against discrimination in education and sports. This landmark legislation, with its aim to literally level the playing field, helped women chase their dreams in the classroom, on the field, and in every arena. The biggest change came for female athletes in high school and college. My high school finally got its first women's varsity sports teams, basketball and softball, shortly after Title IX's passage, just in time for me to get to play in high school for a few years. Now, 50 years later, I get a thrill when I drive through my community after school on the weekends, and I see soccer fields loaded with young girls playing their game, and the girls on the practice range at the local community golf courses honing their swings. Not to mention the women here tonight who are competing in the Michigan Women's Amateur Championship and the young black women who competed in the John Shipman Invitational a few weeks ago in Grand Rapids. I'm optimistic knowing these young athletes will go on to be leaders in our communities, having honed their leadership skills on the field of play. Through a combination of dynamic speakers and videos this evening, we will explore the rich history of Title IX, including the roadblocks that female athletes in the past had to endure and overcome. We are presenting this history to teach the younger generation about the prior struggles and to remind us all that we must learn from the past in order to avoid becoming complacent with the status quo in female athletics and women's golf. We need to keep the progress we have made and continue to improve upon it. We will also hear about some of the success stories taking place right here in our community that showcase the intersection of diversity, inclusion, and golf. Finally, we will hear from the Executive Director of the Michigan Task Force on Women in Sports, which will be releasing its recommendations later this month. I am teeing up tonight's program with a short video about one of the true legends of the game, Shirley Spork. She was homegrown, born right here in Detroit, and attended what is now known Eastern Michigan University. Hers is a remarkable story of perseverance and determination, and how she, along with 12 other women, signed the original charter establishing the LPGA in 1950. Well before the passage of Title IX. Ms. Spork, whose impact on women's golf stretched across 7 decades, from starting the pro tour to then becoming a renowned teaching professional. She was known for greeting players with a handshake and a swing tip off the 18th green when she attended LPGA events in recent years. In 2014, she was a big highlight of the MWGA's Legacy Celebration of Golf at Travis Point Country Club, again giving putting tips on the 18th green most of the afternoon. Ms. Spork was one of the last remaining survivors of the 13 women who founded the LPGA when she passed away recently in April, just 2 weeks after being selected to join the LPGA Hall of Fame, one of the most stringent halls in all of golf, or in all of sports. I recently spoke with Stephanie Jennings, EMU's women's golf coach, and she spoke fondly about Ms. Spork's interaction with her players and her dedication and love of teaching the game of golf. She often lent her coaching expertise, support, and spirit to EMU's women's golf program. We owe much gratitude to Shirley and the many daring women who used their skills in sport to move the needle on equal rights and to bring about the existence of Title IX. They gave us all a great opportunity to see ourselves in their shoes, to idolize them, and to drive on with our sport. I hope you enjoy the video and getting to know more about the legendary Shirley Spork. If you need to move to see the video screens,
full shots. It was her only choice. It was her only club. That was the start of one of the most consequential journeys golf has known. With the echo of that laughter ringing in her ears, Shirley began a lifelong fight for her gender and for the game of golf. Shirley Spork was born in 1927 at the height of the Roaring '20s, a year when Babe Ruth hit 60 home runs, Gene Tunney defeated Jack Dempsey, Bobby Jones won twin titles in golf, as did Helen Wills Moody in tennis, while Walter Hagen took his 4th consecutive PGA championship. 2 years later, the world tumbled into the abyss of the Great Depression. The Sporks ended up living on Bonnie Brook because Shirley's father lost his job and became caretaker of the property in exchange for free rent. Shirley's work ethic and sense of fairness were molded by the Depression and World War II. She was a daughter of the greatest generation. Bonnie Brook was a perfect place for Shirley to grow up. She was a natural athlete and picked up golf quickly. Eventually, Otto Hines, the pro at Bonnie Brook, grew tired of running Shirley and her putter off his golf course. He gave her a 3, 5, 7, and 9 iron. She would ride her bicycle to Redford Golf Club where the Detroit Free Press sponsored free lessons for juniors. By her mid-teens, Shirley was winning Detroit regional tournaments. In what was to be an impactful decision, not just for her, but for golf, Shirley enrolled at Michigan State Normal School, which is now Eastern Michigan University. She played golf, winning the 1947 Women's National Collegiate Golf Tournament, but more importantly, she trained to become a physical education instructor, and because of that, she learned how to teach and coach. Then on May 6, 1950, while teaching in the Detroit school system, Shirley turned pro and became one of the 13 women who signed the original charter of the Ladies Professional Golf Association. That fall, she began teaching at Bowling Green State University while studying for her master's degree, teaching Monday through Thursday and playing LPGA events Friday through Sunday. While Spork competed regularly on the LPGA in those early years, she was always a teacher and a coach at heart. She was mentored by PGA professional Joey Ray at Pasatiempo Golf Club in Santa Cruz, California, who got Shirley her first head pro job at Ukiah Municipal Golf Course. By 1955, Shirley was coaching at Tamara's Country Club near Palm Springs, where she has lived for most of the last 7 decades. In 19 coaches how to teach the game to women. In the 1970s, Shirley worked with Gary Wyron, Director of Education for the PGA, to make it possible for apprentices to get PGA credits while working for an LPGA pro. She also worked for the National Golf Foundation, where she helped put together the Golf Teaching Kit, a guide for teachers and coaches. Eventually, Shirley became one of only 2 to be LPGA Teacher of the Year twice, and she did it 25 years apart. For 70 years, Shirley has preached the gospel of golf, instructing and inspiring generations how to bring the game to new players. As historic as was her role as one of the 13 founders of the LPGA, Shirley made just as permanent of a mark on the history of golf as a coach and as a coach of coaches. For that reason, Shirley Spork is now a member of the PGA of America Hall of Fame.